Hey folks, Engineer 775 here. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Scott Moore from Iva, South Carolina. We want to talk to you, and I'm going to let Scott talk more about it, but he's going to introduce to you this preparedness, the Sustainable Living and Preparedness Gathering event. I knew I was going to mess that up.
That's okay, you're doing great.
Here in Iva, South Carolina, on this really beautiful historic farm. He's going to tell you more about it. It's really close to where he lives, and he's done a lot of events here. And so I'm going to let him basically explain the event, but I'm going to be part of the event. I'm going to be teaching and possibly even preaching. I'm not sure.
Absolutely. We're asking Scott to do a service on Sunday morning.
Okay, look forward to doing that.
Absolutely.
And this is, you know, when we started, I guess the prepper movement started, we just, you know, this event's not going to cost that much. We really haven't set a price on it, have we?
No.
No. So we just...
It's going to be user friendly to come to the gate.
Very good. And that makes it great for everybody. We don't want anything to stop people from coming and enjoying the weekend, which will be what, May 6th?
It is 5th? May 6th and 7th, which is a Saturday and Sunday, the weekend before Mother's Day.
Okay, weekend before Mother's Day. Great. So tell us about some of the classes and things that you want to hold here.
Okay, first of all, Scott, it is a pleasure that you came out to check the farm out with me.
Happy to be in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. God works in mysterious ways.
Amen.
I called Scott to ask him about participating in this event, and he said, "I'll be right down the road. I can meet you over there and we'll talk about it." We are at the historic Bowie Farm on Parker Bowie Rd in Iva, South Carolina. It's a fantastic location to hold a sustainable living and preparedness gathering. We're going to bring in different folks who specialize in homesteading, off-grid living, bushcraft, survival, prepping, a little bit of medical stuff, and we want this to be very user-friendly, hands-on for folks who want to come out and get an idea of what things might look like if they need to dip back into skill sets from the turn of the century to keep their household and their families operating.
Right.
We do live in uncertain times, and the way that I like to put it that I think is appropriate is if we have an event, regardless of what that event is, that makes life as we know it today take a dramatic setback to before power and infrastructure, are we going to be prepared to lead our families through that event? And we want to make it very easy for folks to come out and take a look at how things were done basically in the old days, turn of the century. We're looking at farming, sustainable living, food preparation, power, water.
All your bushcraft stuff too.
All the bushcraft stuff and survival.
We've gone to many events, and I never get to go through his classes, and I don't think he gets to go through mine.
Never have time because we're running our own booth.
So we're going to come and it's going to be great, and one of these days I'm going to go through his class. He does a great archery class. Are you teaching that down here too as well, or not?
I'm probably going to be running this event, but I have staff that will be here. We are going to have an area set up where we can introduce people to archery, give you the opportunity to shoot a bow and learn how to shoot a bow. And I just might as well tell you, because the other situation that we have going on now with our archery, we are running a whack bow attack, where we are playing a game similar to paintball, but we are using archery equipment and shooting each other with the foam-tipped arrows, and we're using the face protectors and the chest protectors. And I have a lot of, for lack of a better way of putting it, I have some military guys and tactical guys that are actually using this as an occasion to do some force-on-force training with more primitive weapons. And it's been an exciting endeavor, and we have enough room here that we will have an area set up to allow people to participate in that activity.
Yeah, there's plenty of room. It's a beautiful place.
It is.
Just come and camp out. There are some hookups for campers. There's not a lot. There's like 10 of them maybe?
There's 12. There are 12 sites that you can hook up and camp with power and water, and plenty of room out beyond them if you want a primitive camp and just set your tent up. We're going to designate an area for that. I feel right now confident we could probably put 20 or 30 tents up.
Oh,
Besides the 12 sites at least.
Right, at least.
At least.
I mean, there's a couple. There's a lot of room. Here.
Right, and there will be food vendors. There will be plenty of food here, and more importantly, there will be plenty of food here cooked the old way. So not only will you enjoy some good eating, you'll enjoy the educational value of seeing that food prepared without power.
Great. Anything else?
I would just encourage you to consider bringing your family and coming out. Again, the dates are May 6th and 7th. We'll have to do some links with some pertinent information as far as the
there'll be
actual
links in the description.
Location.
Right, Facebook, and tell them about the Facebook page.
We do have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is just for the Sustainable Living and Preparedness Gathering. Our website is WAC Outdoors, WAC Outdoors, and our Facebook page is WAC Outdoors LLC. And we have enough of an online presence that if you folks just remember to go to Google and do a Google search of WAC Outdoors, most of our stuff will roll up. It'll be real easy to see.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, and for the viewers out there that are familiar with Scott, we're just really excited that he's offered to come on board and help with the event. I couldn't be more excited about that. We have a very dedicated and capable staff, and we will ensure that if you entrust us with your time, you'll have a great experience coming out and seeing the farm.
All right, folks. Well, stay tuned for more information. This is Engineer 775 and Scott Moore from WAC Outdoors signing off.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Thank you. All right. So what do you want to do? Do you want to stop here? Or no, you're going to keep going?
Right on going.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. Let you slide over this way just a teeny bit, right there, right there. All right, folks, this is Scott Moore from WAC Outdoors. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Scott Hunt. Scott, how you doing?
Good to be with you
Great.
today.
For those of you that aren't familiar with Scott, Scott has a website and a business called Practical Preppers, LLC. And if I have this correct, Scott has an engineering background, and he basically specializes in sustainable power sources, water and power, without the grid.
Without the grid.
And he does consulting work in that area and also provides the equipment and installation. Is that correct?
We do the whole thing.
Right. And Scott also has a very popular YouTube channel. It's Engineer 775. And I took a sneak peek just, I think yesterday. He's cooking around 175,000 subscribers. He's got a bunch of videos. They all pertain to sustainable living and off-grid living. Very educational. It is absolutely worth your time and effort to check out what Scott has and what Scott offers. But what we're here for today, and what I'm excited to announce, is that myself and my wife Kathy, through WAC Outdoors, we are sponsoring a Sustainable Living and Preparedness Gathering on the historic Bowie Farm here in Iva, South Carolina. It is a fantastic location. It's just off of 81, right before you get to Iva. We'll have all the information as far as address, exact location, and links, and get you to that information. But basically what we're doing here is on May 6th and 7th. We are having a lot of folks come in here who kind of specialize in off-grid, homesteading, sustainable living, medical. So we're going to have folks demonstrating off-grid living, bushcraft, survival, food preparation. We talked to some folks coming out, beekeeping, blacksmithing, farriers.
Nice.
Good stuff.
That's excellent. Absolutely.
And we're so excited to offer this event, and I want to really stress the point that this is a gathering, unlike an indoor event,
Right.
which is
An expo.
basically just an expo, and you're going down a row of 10 by 10 booths. This is just an absolutely fantastic location. I will shoot some footage to go with this video of the outside and have you take a better look at the farm. But because of the atmosphere of a gathering, you're going to get to spend a lot of time with the vendors and the folks that are presenting. We're going to have some workshops and some seminars, be very educational. It'll be a fantastic way if you are just curious and kind of want to check out what the off-grid thing's all about. This is going to be a family-friendly way to come out, get some great food, and talk to some folks that kind of do this as a lifestyle and get a hands-on feel and a lot of education. And what we're really looking at is, you know, today we live in, there's just no way around it. We live in uncertain times.
We do.
And if you just look at the natural disasters that have taken place, the threat,
rattling going on.
the threat of, world
Cyber
powers
attacks,
conflicting, cyber attacks, monetary collapse. I always have a very positive outlook for the future.
Me too.
But there is a very real concern in the thought that life as we know it today could take a dramatic shift backwards. And we might have to look to skills of yesterday to sustain our family in a way that's acceptable to us and that we feel good about our station in life.
And these solutions we're talking about are things that it doesn't really matter what the scenario is. These are skill sets that that would apply across the board. So I tell people, you know, don't focus so much on the scenario. Just focus on your skill sets. Do you have the supplies, the skills in order to get you through pretty much across the board? You still need water, you need food, you need to know how to cook, you need to know how to hunt, gather, and all the things that you're going to show them here.
And I'll tell you what, I look at this in another way too. It is very common in this part of the country, just through storms, to have to go 3 or 4 days without power.
Right.
And if you're not prepared, going 3 or 4 days without power is pretty inconvenient. It's downright miserable.
Especially if you rely on your smartphone.
Right. But if just with a little bit of preparation, it's a pretty smooth go for a couple of days. And more importantly, it's just a fantastic educational opportunity if you have kids. And just that little bit of prep work beforehand makes those occurrences fun. Actually, a good positive situation for your family. And we just encourage you to come out and avail yourself to the expertise of some of the finest off-grid homesteading, prepping folks in the country. They're going to be here offering their lifestyle in a format that's easy to digest and learn from. And I'm just so proud that Scott has agreed to come out and take a look at this with me today. And Scott has committed to be a part of this. And he will be doing seminars on alternative energy,
water, finding water, pumping water, storing it. You know, the goal is to have some sustainable infrastructures so that you might have to focus on other things like getting food or security, and just having those things that are kind of boring out of the way. They're things that we take for granted, just to have those things in place and working.
Right. And for what it's worth, I absolutely am going to kind of put a plug in for Scott, because I know he wouldn't do it. Scott's a phenomenal individual in what he does. He is nationally recognized in his area of expertise with off-grid power and water and heat. And if you ever think that you have a dwelling or a homestead or an area that you want to cover those bases in a very professional and effective manner, I really encourage you to take a look at Scott's website, Practical Preppers, LLC. Give him a call. He's the man, undisputed. I'm giving him that credit. Look him up. All right, folks, this is Scott Moore from Whack Outdoors with Scott Hunt. Scott, I thank you a lot, and we look forward to seeing you on May 6th and 7th at the Sustainable Living and Preparedness Gathering on the historic Bowie Farm in Iva, South Carolina.